Welcome to my home. I'm your host, Steve Savlov, and we're in the home of Young and Pearl Lee, and they are from South Korea, and they're going to talk a little bit about their background and what it was like growing up in South Korea and what it was like coming to the United States. So let's start with you, Pearl. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like growing up in South Korea? What's the name of your hometown?
Well, I was born in the city called Daegu, which is south of Seoul. And shortly after I was born, my father was hit by a North Communist student, and he got very, very sick and never recovered, and he passed away.
Oh.
So it was during the wartime, and Daegu had a lot of, because Daegu was surrounded by the mountains, all these communists were hiding in the mountain during the daytime, and then at night they would come out and they would go after their targets. And unfortunately, my father was one of the targets. And as I remember, it was a very confusing time in our history.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of families that lost their fathers and the mothers too. So, but I remember I didn't have a really vivid memory because I was very, very little. And then later on we came to Seoul, which is the capital city. And then my mother always felt that we need a good education. And for women to move on, advance in their lives, we need to get Western education. So she encouraged my sister and I both go to U.S. and to study. So I came to U.S. right after high school.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, do you have any memories of what it was like? You said wartime, and the communists were up in the mountains. Do you have any memories of what it was like for you?
Well, my childhood memories are very vague, and I know that my mother had to really work hard to struggle to support the family since we didn't have the father. But my favorite memories when I came to Seoul, it was a lot bigger city, and the schools that I was sent was run by foreign nuns. So I lived in a dormitory, and it was just like a foreign country.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I was there for 6 years before I came to U.S. And that's where I learned English by British nuns. And those were my very pleasant childhood memories.
Good.
Yes.
And you said your mom had to work very hard. What did she do?
Well, she became a nurse because at that time, women had a hard time getting a job, although she was studying piano, but she could not continue her education. So then at the time, she decided to come to U.S. There were a lot of opportunities for scholarships because Korea was a developing country. And the WHO was very deeply involved with Korean public health. So she was able to get a scholarship and came to University of Hawaii.
Oh.
And was able to get a master's degree in public health nursing.
Wow.
And so when she returned back to Korea, she was like a liaison person for WHO and Korean government.
Okay.
And they set up a lot of pilot programs for the public health. Yes.
And Young, what was it like for you growing up in South Korea?
Growing up was a long time ago.
Do you have any memories?
I remember I have a older brother, older sisters, but also we have 4 boys and 1 year apart each. So I don't have much memory, but the housekeeper who stayed with us about 30, 40 years, she told me we were like a little puppies because they were all,
All young?
young. And she said it's a hard time to feed all 4 kids. So he had the milk in the big pan and give us a little cup and we pick it up.
Oh,
So that's how I remember.
yeah. Do you remember did you feel secure or insecure during those times?
When we were little, kids just playing. I remember we always, they don't have a big house like in America. Our houses, we play in the kids are playing in the street and outside, and then they're rough. People were a little bit rough, but we have always 4 of us, so we gang up so they can touch us.
Ah,
So that's how I remember.
so you
Yeah.
felt protected in numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did your family do for a living?
I remember my father was worked for the city, and then he retired. Then I think he spent, my recollection is most of the time helping, living with a grandfather. And we were living in Seoul, and we were a big family, and I think there's a quite age apart, my older brother and the 4 little kids. So pretty much I remember those younger ages. My sister-in-law was more like played the role of a mother, and big brother was more like a father. This is pretty common in Orientals.
Yes.
Yeah, big family, older brother take care of the younger kids, older sister take care of the, So it was a lot of fun because never idle moment because we, running around. Yeah.
So when you both grew up in South Korea, how did you celebrate the holidays?
Our major holidays are New Year's, and they dressed all these costumes, and visiting grandparents and some of the relatives. Then we bow. Then they always give us some money. That's a good part. And before that, usually they have a little ceremony.
Right.
Because we did kind of worshiping their ancestor. Yeah, they have kind of rituals and something like that, and then running around with. Then another big celebration is Thanksgiving. Yeah, so most of in our culture, those days in Thanksgiving times, they visit their tombs of their ancestor. And many of the people in Seoul, their ancestors' tombs are far away from the village, in the countrysides. So they go in and visit, and they always have food involved. Yeah.
Right.
So those are the. Nowadays, they have different services, but those are the most major. And also their death of the father or grandfather, they have kind of rituals. Yeah.
So how about you,
Most
Pearl?
common.
Yeah, for the anniversaries.
Sorry?
Well, the celebrations are always happy occasions because the country was very, very poor for a very long time.
Right.
And food was very scarce.
Yeah.
So those celebration times we would have a feast.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, the kids, they were dressed up in Korean costume like what I'm wearing.
Right.
And all the families that live in different cities would come together.
Right.
And it's a good time to visit. And also the older parents that live in a remote country.
Wow.
Because Korea is an agriculture country.
Mm-hmm.
So most of our ancestors are from the countryside.
Mm.
And they are involved in agricultural
Mm-hmm.
activities. So it's a good time to go visit them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But now things have really changed. The children are very busy. They don't have a big family. They only have like 1 or 2 kids at the most.
Mm-hmm.
They live in the city, in the apartment, like the condominiums, like New York.
Uh-huh.
And but they still, those 2 holidays they try to observe. And
Right.
probably the biggest occasions for the families to get together.
So how did you two survive in terms of these occupations from different countries? What was that like? You know, like the communists and let's say
You
the
talk-
Japanese.
You talking the back in the growing up years?
Yes.
I remember we, of course, I was during the Japanese occupation. I was born and raised. We went to elementary school, and you have to speak Japanese from the day one when you went to the school.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not allowed to speak Koreans anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the very strict disciplines. Yeah.
Right.
And I remember because it was a wartime,
Mm-hmm.
even though I was a 3rd grade, I have to work, fix the uniform,
Mm-hmm.
military uniform, put a button on it. Can
Sew.
you believe?
Sewing it.
Yeah, sewing.
Yes.
That was the. Then another things I remember when they. In the beginning of the Second World War, Japanese was a very successful. They went to Manchuria and they occupied then part of the Chinese. Then when southeast area occupied other countries, and when they occupied Singapore, they gave us a small bowl, rubber bowl, because those South Asia produced the rubber. Yeah, so they kind of were celebrating their victories, and they gave us a little bowl, everybody, and that was we were just kids, so
Yes.
happy with having the ball.
Right.
So that I remember.
How about you?
But yeah,
Well, I think I was born much later than he did.
Yeah.
And I probably, by the time I was born, the Korean War was ending.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my direct experience was a lot of kids with no fathers, and a lot of families with their sons gone. Every family has a story, very sad stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I also met a lot of friends that flee from the north,
Oh, okay.
came to the south, and had to leave everything back home. And some of them are without family. They lost a
Yes.
family in the process of coming to the
Right.
south. So I'm familiar with all those very, very terrible war stories.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And actually, my mother life was affected hugely because she became a widow when she was 29. Yeah.
So how did the two of you meet?
Well, we were both in Los Angeles,
Oh, okay.
and my husband's high school reunion. They had a party at one of the friends' house, and at the time, my brother-in-law was visiting from Chicago. He also happened to go to the same high school, so I drove them to the reunion party, and that's where I met my husband.
Ah.
Then everything happened, I guess.
And everything happened. And you have some children.
Yes.
How many?
Yes, we have a daughter that lives in Costa Mesa.
Uh-huh.
One lives in D.C. One lives in Temecula.
Temecula.
Yeah, and one of my son actually, who lived in D.C., used to live in Africa for 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so we visited 4 times.
Wow.
And Africa remind me of old Korea.
Mm.
Yeah, even when I got to Nairobi, you know, all the streets, unpaved streets, and the kids playing on the streets. That reminds me of like in Korea in 70s, 60s.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
60s, yes.
And you have grandchildren, right?
Yes, we have 3 boys and a girl, and we're expecting
congratulations.
twins by the end of this year.
Congratulations, yeah.
Yes.
How
so we're very
wonderful.
excited about that.
How wonderful.
Yes.
So you met in the United States.
Yes.
And what brought each of you to the United States?
Well, I basically wanted to go to school, but I couldn't get the student status right after high school.
Right.
So I came to visit my sister who was living in Chicago
Uh-huh.
as a visitor.
Right.
And then I went to language school. And from there I went to University of Illinois.
You left University of Illinois.
Yes, and I
Okay.
studied hospital dietetics.
Oh, okay.
I got my degrees.
Uh-huh.
Worked very, very hard.
Yeah.
But those were good times.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
How about you, Young?
I came in 1959. There was of course, that time Korea was still poor after the war, and still Korea was trying to recover from the war-torn countries, and I was able to come to the United States, and they allowed to have $100. Yeah, so I came. I stopped in Japan, and I liked the camera. So small Minolta camera. I paid $16.
Wow.
So I have left $84 in my pocket. Yeah, but I was lucky. I had a sponsor, and he was a very, very generous person, and he helped me first year of the schooling and dormitory and so forth. So I came as a junior standing, and for 2 years I pretty much self-supported. Yeah, those time was a very I recall country. United States was a still wonderful country, less crimes, less violation.
Yeah.
You know, crime like these times. So anyway, so after 2 years, kind of self-supported.
Yeah.
Then I worked for a little bit. Then I went back to graduate school. But in graduate school, I was lucky. I had some scholarships. So just
And you got your PhD, right?
yeah, from University of Southern California.
Wow, that was a very nice school.
Yeah.
So here you are in the United States, and where did you live before you came to
Laguna Woods.
Laguna Woods?
We lived in Arizona.
Oh,
Yeah, I lived
Tempe, Arizona,
Tempe.
Yeah.
for 33 years.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Before then, we lived in
Orange County
Orange County.
for about 10 years.
So what brought you to Laguna Woods?
We were on the trip. Then in the trip, there's a group of people, Koreans, who living in Laguna Woods.
Oh, okay.
And I learned about it.
Yeah.
Even though my younger brother used to live in
Lake Forest.
Yeah, Lake Forest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was there. So I came and I guess we first ate the lunch or something.
At the golf course.
At golf course, they said, "Whoa!"
Oh, yeah.
That did it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So since you've been here how many years?
We just finished our first year.
Your first year, okay.
Yes.
And are you involved in any activities?
Yes, and we have, and I was so shocked to find out there's so many Koreans living here, and they have a lot of activities themselves. So I joined their singing group. I joined their the Spanish group, and I take some classes from Saddleback as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and also the church that's close by on Milton. There is a Korean Methodist church.
Oh,
At the size of about 150.
how
Yeah, so
interesting.
everything's so close.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
very
nice.
convenient.
That's nice
Yeah.
about living here.
Yes.
How about you, Young?
Well, when I first moved in, I really marveled. There are so many activities and kind of clubs, and then I don't know what to do. So first thing I did a little bit of volunteer work.
Good.
At the Saddleback Hospital, and I pushed the wheelchairs.
Yeah. How generous of you.
and she did delivering.
I also did volunteer work at the senior center,
Uh-huh.
delivering the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that way I
Yeah.
got to learn all the different gates and the people, because we go visit them door to door, and it was a good experience, and I still do that.
Good,
It was
good.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful in Laguna Wood is such a pleasant environment, and only that, so many things so easily accessible. You know, we just 1 minute to the clubhouse, you can swim, you can exercise.
Right.
Many lectures are available, and I love to hike, so I joined the hiking clubs.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Then also we are actually involved. Also, few of us started a new group called the Senior Bio Senior Group. It says older folks, mostly 80 plus people, getting together. And,
Okay.
yeah.
So I understand that some food was prepared
Yeah.
from your country,
Yes.
and
Very important. Food is very
yeah,
important.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. So can we adjourn from this part of the interview and go over to where the food is?
Sure.
And so here we are, at a dining table of Young and Pearl's home, and we have these foods that are, first of all, look quite delicious and nutritious. And so, Pearl, can you tell me a little bit about, let's say, this dish?
Yes. Well, I have prepared two of the very popular Korean dishes. One is called bibimbap. Bap means rice. Bibim means mixed. So it's a rice mixed with different vegetables. So this is called japchae. These are the two very popular dishes among Americans too. And I know that in the restaurants, I've run into many foreigners. They always either order bibimbap or japchae. We add the sauce before we eat and mix it together. And the reason I made it in a big bowl is because I was going to feed about 6 or 7 of us. But usually when you go in the restaurant, you will get a dish like this. And this is for individual servings. And there's a rice underneath, and there are different kind of vegetables.
Right.
And beef. And for some reason, we always add the eggs. Right. And what you see here, probably many of you heard about Korean kimchi. Kimchi is very famous food in Korean cuisine. There are over 100 different kind of kimchi.
Ah,
And what it is a fermented cabbage. Sometimes they make it with a radish. Sometimes they make it with cucumbers and different kinds. But this one, I just made it about 2 days ago. Sometimes they keep it in the refrigerator for over months. And they like it more fermented.
Ah, okay.
But my husband, this is more American style. My husband likes it fresh, just like salad. Although it looks hot, we try to keep it mild. Some of these
Really?
Korean foods.
Really?
Yes, yes.
So, let me ask Young about his. Do you have this every day?
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah. But there's other popular one. One is a bulgogi.
Beef.
Means pul means fire and gogi means meat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, marinated beef.
Yeah. So that's like a steak, but
Very thin, very
yeah,
thin steak.
But this is another one is a kalbi. That means
Rib.
Thank you for sharing, and first of all, for being so generous and opening your house to our crew and to the people on Channel 6. And till next time, we'll say adieu and let's eat.
Yes. And we call 감사합니다.